Catanduanes, Philippines, November 9, 2025. The Philippines has executed a mass evacuation of over 100,000 residents across its eastern and northern provinces. This urgent action comes as Fung-wong rapidly escalated into a super typhoon on Sunday, hours before landfall, poised to unleash torrential rains, destructive winds, and life-threatening storm surges. Critical storm warning signals now blanket most of the Philippines. Signal number 5, the absolute highest alert, has been declared across Southeastern Luzon, encompassing Catanduanes and the coasts of Camarines Norte and Camarines Sur. Even Metro Manila is now bracing under signal number 3. Bearing sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour, or 115 miles per hour, and terrifying gusts up to 230 kilometers per hour. Super Typhoon Fung-wong, locally named Uwan, is projected to smash into Aurora province in central Luzon by Sunday night. Crucially, parts of eastern Visayas are already reporting widespread power failures. Images released by the Philippine Coast Guard in Camarines Sur capture the raw scene, thousands of evacuees clutching their belongings, transferring from narrow passenger boats onto waiting emergency trucks during the massive preliminary operations. The civil aviation regulator confirmed the severity of the situation. Over 300 domestic and international flights have been grounded. Footage shared on X by ABC-CBN News reveals the storm's brutal arrival in Catanduanes province. Skies are dark, tree branches are thrashing violently in the gale, and heavy rain is audibly pounding the area with fierce intensity. Fung-wong's menacing approach comes just days after the Philippines was ravaged by Typhoon Kalmaigi, a storm that left 204 dead and carved a path of destruction before sweeping toward Vietnam, where it claimed 5 additional lives and decimated coastal communities. In the devastated fishing village of Vung Chau in central Vietnam, the remnants of Kalmaigi's wrath were visible Saturday. Fishing boats were piled high as wreckage along the main road, and hundreds of lobster farms were either swept away or ruined. Meanwhile, the Philippine Weather Bureau issued a terrifying warning. Life-threatening storm surges of up to 5 meters are expected, alongside destructive gusty winds. The forecast confirmed Typhoon Fung-wong would become a super typhoon before its Sunday night landfall on the country's east coast. The storm's enormous circulation, stretching an incredible 1,500 kilometers, or 932 miles, is already battering the eastern Philippines with heavy precipitation and fierce winds, as confirmed by Pagasa forecaster Benison Estereja. Rainfall totals of up to 200 millimeters are projected for eastern Philippine provinces, specifically the Bicol region and parts of Samar, dramatically escalating the threat of catastrophic, widespread flooding and landslides. Meanwhile, northern and central Luzon could be soaked with 100 to 200 millimeters of rain during the storm's movement. Pagasa issued a critical plea. Residents in low-lying and coastal zones must evacuate to higher ground, and all maritime activities are strictly prohibited. The Bureau warns that a damaging storm surge is imminent, which will rapidly inundate coastal communities. Multiple local governments have preemptively suspended classes for Monday, and the national airline has grounded numerous flights ahead of Typhoon Fung-wong's impact. This new threat follows the recent devastation from Typhoon Kalmaigi, which wrecked coastal communities, tore out trees, and damaged roofs across the region. Vietnam's Disaster Management Agency confirmed damage to almost 2,800 homes, leaving an estimated 500,000 people still powerless. In the Philippines, sudden flash floods completely destroyed homes and choked streets with debris. Vietnam and the Philippines share a brutal vulnerability to tropical storms and typhoons, situated directly on the Pacific Typhoon Belt, where they face regular destruction and loss of life during the peak season. Even Thailand felt Kalmagi's prolonged wrath, experiencing heavy rains and severe localized flooding across its northeast and central regions. Scientists continue to warn that storms like Kalmagi are aggressively increasing in power due to rising global temperatures. Furthermore, the Central Weather Agency, CWA, announced it expects to issue a sea warning for Typhoon Fung-wong tomorrow, stating the typhoon is highly likely to make its next landfall near central Taiwan. As of 2 a.m. yesterday, Fung-wong was tracked 1,760 kilometers southeast of Ulwanpi, Taiwan's southmost point, moving west-northwest at 26 kilometers per hour. The storm is projected to reach Luzon in the northern Philippines tomorrow, according to the CWA. Once it hits the South China Sea, Typhoon Fung-wong is expected to pivot sharply north toward Taiwan, according to CWA forecaster Chang Chun-yao, who emphasized the likelihood of landfall near central Taiwan. The CWA is aiming to issue a land warning on Tuesday, though the exact timing remains fluid. Fung-wong's exact trajectory is subject to sudden changes, and the CWA is maintaining intense surveillance, he cautioned. After crossing into the South China Sea, Typhoon Fung-wong is still projected to veer north toward Taiwan, CWA forecaster Chang Chun-yao reiterated, with central Taiwan remaining the most likely landfall zone. The CWA intends to issue a land warning on Tuesday, but the timeline is uncertain. Fung-wong's path is volatile, demanding constant monitoring. Furthermore, local forecasters warn that storm surges could exceed 3 meters in multiple coastal areas within the Bicol region and other critical cities across Luzon, a devastating update issued by the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, PAGASA, on Sunday morning. PAGASA, in its 6th emergency storm surge update, has placed the provinces of Albay, Camarines Norte, Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, and Sorsogon in the Bicol region, alongside Aurora, Cagayan, Isabela, La Union, Pangasinan, and Quezon, under the highest level red storm surge warning.